What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Giovanni Grande. Today, got a. It's actually the day after Christmas. The day after Christmas, and soon enough, we're gonna enter the new year, 2025. Oh my God, 2025, guys. Hi. So today, because we're about to enter the New Year's, I had the thought of writing down my New Year's resolutions. Do you guys have New Year's resolutions this year? Did you guys actually end up doing the things that you wanted to do this year? If you haven't, you got to do it next year, right? Yeah. So I wrote down my New Year's resolutions today, actually, before this video, because I wanted to make a video about this and perhaps do an update whether or not I'm actually keeping true to my word and actually pursuing the things that I want to pursue this coming year. Now, usually, before the year ever starts throughout my life, I usually have the tendency to actually start early. So, like maybe around the month of December, I'll actually start doing the things that that I would say are New Year's resolutions. So, for example, my New Year's resolutions are in regards to my Japanese learning studies, some work. I'll get into that in a little bit. Health and my relationship with my friends and family. So usually, I don't know why, I don't know if it's unconscious or whatever. I don't really think about it too much, but before I actually enter the new year, I'll actually start putting practices in place before the actual holiday, the actual New Year's Eve, New Year's Day actually comes. For example, this next coming year, I wanted to really stretch my abilities in like communication and like having the ability to do remote work. Now, I haven't done any remote work that actually pays me well enough in the past, but this is my New Year's resolution, is to build a cloud, build a way for me to make income online. And so I've already started putting some things in practice before the actual year started. I started, making some videos. I started writing my thoughts on paper on how I could actually make this happen. Aside from that, let me see. Aside from that, the actual other New Year's resolutions, they're just continuation of what I wanted to do this year. So my Japanese related study goals are to be able to talk in front of the camera in Japanese. Now, I already made some videos in Japanese, but I really wanted to elevate that. I really wanted to make it better, speaking in front of the camera, not just in English, but in Japanese. It's already hard in English to grab your thoughts and just put it into words, especially in front of the camera, especially when you're new to it and you're not used to it. But in Japanese, I feel like that's actually going to be able to help me elevate my communication skills, in Japanese. Now, if I am with other people, it's still hard, conversating in Japanese, especially in groups, right? But I feel like if I could find the time to practice by myself, to grab an idea, consolidate it, and not really translate it, but actually let it flow naturally in my target language that I'm learning, then perhaps it'll help me in everyday conversations in Japanese as well. Not just that, but when you're talking to somebody and you can't really consolidate your thought into words, and you're trying to find all these different words to communicate your idea, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. It's a little bit annoying, I think, sometimes. So with this thought in mind, I really want to practice the method of transcribing your thoughts into words, communicating efficiently and with precision. So yeah, that's one of the goals that I'm doing. I'm going to be talking to the camera a lot more than I'm actually used to. Perhaps do it almost maybe like 5 times a week, I think, because it does take time. You do have to warm up talking to the camera. You have to like really get into the zone. But I want to do it more and more so I don't lose that muscle. I want to build that muscle of talking in front of the camera. All right. And in terms of work, let me see. Right now, I have a pretty good job, I think. But I really want to push myself. I really want to get more work, more new work to like keep my brain busy, to stimulate it, to keep myself satisfied with what I'm doing. Because I feel like if I'm doing work that is too easy, at the end of the day, when I go to sleep, I feel like I'm afraid that I won't be satisfied. Like, I did some good work today. I gave it my best. I really want to find new ways to challenge myself, especially when it comes to work. So we're going to try and make this remote work happen for us. Yeah. And not just that, but the remote work, I think the wanting to do the remote work or having the option to do this comes from a need for independence or freedom. It would be nice to have the freedom to choose where you want to live and what type of work you want to do, meaningful work. Because I think that's really important. If your work is meaningful, I feel like it'll give you a good sense of fulfillment. So that is the goal for this year in terms of work, to get remote work while it being valuable, while it keeps you stimulated and keeps you in a state of learning, challenging you in a way. Yeah, so that's one thing. Now, the next thing is in regards to health. Now, I've always thought about health being one of the most important things in one's life. And I feel like we have to babysit this all the time throughout our lives. Because, well, in my life, I would be afraid to get sick. I would be afraid to lose an ability that I have when it comes to my body. I would hate the fact of getting sick and not being able to do something physically or even mentally, So with this in mind, I think it's very important to prioritize health. So I always put this on the list. I've been working on my health for a long time, even more this year, I think, than any other year that I have lived in this lifetime. But for health, I want to put more in practice of finding ways to heal the body, especially like after working out, finding ways to relieve the body of pain, to help relax the body for it to get sufficient rest after like a good workout or so. So yeah, we're going to figure that stuff out this year. We're also going to try and learn some cooking. I already know how to cook, but I really want to elevate my cooking skills, just keep things more interesting. I got this Japanese cookbook. We're going to learn some Japanese cuisine. I know how to do maybe like 2 dishes when it comes to Japanese cooking, but I really want to learn a little bit more. Not just for myself, but I also like to cook for other people, and hopefully I get to share my experience with other people, because that would be pretty beautiful to share your ability to cook with other people, because that's, sharing is caring, and, we got to give it to others as well. All right. The last thing would be my relationship with my friends and family. Now, because I live in a different country from my parents, I live in Japan right now. It's not that it's hard having taking care of this communication with my family, because I do make phone calls. I do put in the effort to make phone calls, keep my family up to date of what I'm doing, what I'm working on, Like I feel like now more than ever, I'm very open with my mom. So I pretty much tell her a lot of the things that are going on in my life, whether it be work, my decisions for the future, and even like my relationships, like if I have a girlfriend or not, or my relationship with like my friends and stuff, what I'm doing for the weekend. So we're pretty good with that. I also talk to my brother a lot. Perhaps this year, I like to keep in contact more with like my grandma and like my uncles and stuff. And I really want to put the effort for that. You know, I don't think it's hard. I think it's just finding the time to actually do that. And another important thing that I have to consider this year is not just my family, but the people around me, you know, because I'm in a new country, so I have relationships here in Japan that I feel like I have to work on or perhaps make a stronger, better connection with the people that come my way. And I feel like relationships as an adult, especially when it comes to friends, are pretty difficult, pretty challenging. And so I think I'd have to find new ways into like giving value to my friends while being here in Japan. Perhaps like making more opportunities for us to gather together, finding the time to really like make invitations to go here, to go there, maybe host some dinners, and just really share my time with other people. Because although it is important to be by yourself and work on yourself, we are social human beings. And if we don't have those connections and relationships, then sometimes the solitude could creep up on you, I think. And maybe perhaps somewhere along the line, if you're alone too much or you're in your own solitude for too long, then you start to question your motives and stuff and start to question whether or not your sanity is healthy, if you're sane, if your mental health is actually healthy or not. I think it's good to have friends to bounce back ideas, to check yourself in a way. And I feel this is important because without it, I feel like you could go straight along a path that might be a little bit dangerous or so. And I think also because in this day and age, people are a lot more lonely and more into themselves. We resort to like applications like uh like therapy and stuff like that, like online therapy. And I feel I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Online therapy, I understand the concept, but I think that's what friends are there for, you know, to be listened to and to help your friends along with their own issues as well, to have that bounce back of ideas. That's what people are there for. And I think it's important to have those relationships because, you know, it's only natural. We need these relationships. We need to like tell people our problems and like maybe perhaps get some good advice on how to fix those problems. But more importantly, when you talk about your problems and you talk about them to your friends or whatever, it's not really the advice that they give you, but it's more about like what comes out your own mouth. Trying to understand your own thoughts by speaking them. And along the way, you kind of find the answer through your own words. You know, when you share a problem with another friend, of course you'll hear their words, but at the same time, you'll listen to your own words and start realizing where the solution is, little by little, with your own words and with the help of your other friends. So I think that's why for this year, I'm going to find the time to actually give more time and energy to the relationships around me because I'm here in Japan and I really need to put an effort to make these relationships flourish just to have like a good, healthy life. Yeah, I think that's where I'm trying to get at. Yeah, but those are my New Year's resolutions, right? Now, how would I go about and keep my New Year's resolutions ongoing? How to actually stick to my plans. Now, first things first, I wrote these things down, right? And if I learned anything this year, I would say that in order to keep these goals on check is to continuously babysit them, to write the things down, not every day, but continuously. You know, keep going back into like your own thoughts and ask yourself what you're doing in your life, if you're following through with your decisions, your goals. And really keep yourself accountable, you know, because nobody else is going to do it for you, especially as an adult. You have to keep yourself accountable. And I think that's one of the other things that I really have to check myself to be accountable, to stay accountable for my own life, my responsibilities, my relationships, everything. I have to really check myself. And yeah, I think that's how I'm going to go about this year. Now that I have my things written down, I know what I want to execute. And I'm sure that along the year, things are going to change for sure, because that's life. But if I keep continuously checking myself and seeing where I'm at, then perhaps I can get a lot of things done this year. And then when the year ends next year, I'll be satisfied with where I've gotten, what I've worked at, what I've worked on. And perhaps I would have a really good year. Just like I've had a really good year this year. Yeah, it's a lot of thinking power right there. Alright guys, I'm gonna close off the video with that. Yeah, I hope you guys got some insight from what I had to say. I hope that maybe perhaps that your own wishes and desires for next year come true. I hope that you guys like really think about what you want to do this coming year, put practices in place, and execute the things that you want to do, because we have one life only, right? And we really have to like really give it our all, because every passing year things start getting a little scarier sometimes. Life speeds up and we start getting older and stuff. And the things that we have to do, the things that we put off, never get done if we don't actually go for it, right? Anyways, all right. That's it. That's all I have to say. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Greetings, deuces from Japan. Let's really give it our best this coming year. Sayonara.